howdy. Welcome to my run cast. Look at my new hat, sent to me by Jim Moulter. Thank you so much. Jim has been a supporter for a long time, and he sent me something, this, a long time ago. And he's like, let me know when it gets there. I'm like, great. And it just was not coming. I don't know what happened. They sent it by carrier pigeon or something like that, but it is here now. Sylvie's running hat. It's even got SPF 50. It's very, very nice. Thank you very much, James. That's wonderful. I was really sick at the very end of last week. I don't know what happened. It's one of those things where like you're fine and then you're just dead. I don't know if you guys know cattle dogs, Australian cattle dogs. Our vet said to us when our dog was getting old, she's like, you know, cattle dogs, they go until they die. Like they're fine and then they just die. And that sounds very morbid, but it's honestly, they live right up until they're done. Our dog Tiger, who died right when we like came back from our first trip to Thailand, he waited for us to come back, and he waited the whole drive back from Colorado to New York. And then when he got home, he just fucking like up and got in the house, and then he was done. He was just like, that was it. Such a good boy. He's amazing. But that was me last week. I was fine. Like I was just trekking along. I had an amazing horse riding, trail riding thing on Friday. Like everything was great. And then I woke up Saturday and I went to my training with John, weightlifting, and I was just, it was rough. I could feel that I was getting really sick. And I was like, I'll just go home and like try to take a nap or something like that. I slept for like 17 hours and I got really achy, and like I think it was honestly just a cold. It might have been COVID, I'm not sure, but like it symptom wise was just kind of like a cold, but like very, very achy, and just crashed. Like I was just fucking done. But so I took 3 days off. I took the rest of Saturday, all of Sunday, and then I took Monday off to kind of as a precaution, even though I was starting to feel better. And I went back to training on Tuesday, and I was kind of like trying to be somewhat delicate about it, because I knew that rushing it might make me have to take time off again. So I was just kind of like, I'll just ease my way in. And I told Tapia that I was sick when I was homesick, so he knew why I wasn't there. And when he's like, Sylvie, are you doing pads? I was like, yeah, but can you like bow? Can you just like give them to me, like bow a little bit? And he's like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And I will tell you guys, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're like me, I'm like me, you have days where like you're just awful on the pads, like, or you're just really tired, or you're like, why is everything so hard? Whereas like yesterday I was fine and today I just suck. Like yesterday I was sparring well, things were flowing, and today like I can't even fucking string 2 strikes together. Like it's insane. Sometimes you're just like, nothing is working. So if you are one of the people who needs to hear this, that is not 100% you. And I'm not talking about people outside of Thailand. I don't know what pad work is like in the US. I don't know how good people are in Europe. I don't know any of these things. In Thailand, if you have a good pad man, your pad man is like 80%, probably 80% in charge of what your pad work is like and how good it is. Tapia was doing bow with me, and my pace was no slower than it normally is. I was throwing as many weapons. He wasn't doing like burn drills, so he wasn't making me do like 20 kicks at the end of stuff. But like, it was steady pace the entire time. But I was not struggling. Like I was not having a hard time. It actually was bow, even though it was the same pace as my normal, like, I'm gonna die pad work. The difference was he wasn't pressuring me. He wasn't stressing me. He wasn't standing too close to me. He wasn't like forcing me to throw something when he knew I was slightly off balance from something else. So this goes to show that a very skilled pad man, and in Thailand this is going to be the majority of your pad men, that is who is actually controlling those days when you're like, I don't know what's wrong with me, I can't string 2 fucking things together, and I'm so tired and I'm exhausted and all of these things. They are controlling the volume on that switch, and you think it's you, and you blame yourself, and you like get all up in your business about it. It's not you. You're only 20% controlling that. It's really your pad man. And this was very, very helpful for me coming back to pads and experiencing that with Tapia. And then in the past few days, because I've been back for a couple of days now, it has been getting steadily harder. And instead of being like, what's wrong with me? I'm getting healthier and I should be having more stamina and I'm even more tired. I'm not fucking doing anything differently. He's doing things differently and he's making it harder on me. And I understand that now. And it's very, very important to understand that. So I am glad to be able to provide this PSA about it's not you, honestly, or at least 80% not you. You only have 20% control over how well you're doing in something that you're not entirely in control of. If you suck at shadow boxing, that's you. That's all you. You're 100%. That's your problem. But if it's like sparring or pad work or clinching or something like that, that has a lot to do with your partners. I went back to clinching for the first time today. I was making sure that all my symptoms are gone before getting in like close proximity with people. I was a little bit nervous going back to Rambaz because in the time that I've been gone, in the time that I've been sick, he was posting this work, like these drills that he was putting his fighters through. And he's like, people are asking me why I'm so hot. Hot is like cruel or like merciless. He's like, people are asking me why I'm so hot in the way that I'm training my fighters right now. And he's like, last month we had 3 fighters and not one of them won. So we're coming back to like really, really hard training. Like they're gonna get, you know, run through because they didn't win their fights. And it kind of got in my head a little bit that like I was a new element at the gym last month. And I actually had nothing to do with 2 of his fighters, but I had to do with one of his fighters who had won his previous fight, which is a little bit of an outlier. Like Ramba really, his gym is very small in the sense of when Thai people talk about a small gym, they don't necessarily mean it has few fighters. What they mean is it doesn't have power. His gym doesn't really have a lot of power. They almost never get any kind of advantage. Like the promoters tell them who to fight and they just go fight them, and they never get like a, you know, experience advantage or size advantage or any of these things. He actually, one of his kids that was fighting, the agreed upon weight was 45.5, which is like 100 pounds, which is the minimum to fight at a lot of stadia. So that was the agreed upon weight. So his fighter comes in at 45.5 and the opponent came in at 45 because that's just either he cut too much weight or he's small. And Rambam made his fighter cut another ½ kilo in order to match that kid, even though the agreed upon weight was 45.5, which means he had met it and the other kid came in small. Rambam's like, we don't take advantage of anybody. Like, I'm gonna make my kid lose another 0.5. And then his kid lost that fight. I think he lost by knockout in round 2. And Ramba in his update was like, that was on me. That's my fault. I made him lose more weight. Which, I don't know if that's actually the fault of it or not, but it was nice that he was taking responsibility for that. Bye bye bye. Bye bye bye. Bye bye bye. I'm trying to get this puppy across the road so that he doesn't. He's so tiny. Okay. He's trying to cross the road and there's traffic and he's so tiny you wouldn't see him. He's like rat-sized. Oh, so I have this like concern about me having been kind of a new element in the gym, even though consciously I know I had absolutely nothing to do with any of the fighters winning or losing. That's not my business. But I was worried about like going back in and like, am I considered part of the element of like they didn't train hard enough or they didn't work hard enough or whatever the thing is. So Kevin's pep talking me while he's driving me to training, and he's like, just go hard. Like, just if you feel that way, just make up for the difference with intention of making sure that you put as much as you can into the training, that you're like, you're gonna make this hard for them. Like, I can't make myself better than I am. I can't make myself bigger than I am. They're bigger than I am. But I can be like intense. I can bring my intention to it. So I bring my intention, and I'm working with Maxu and M16, who are 2 of Ramba's fighters who are like, I don't know, 15, 16. And they're like 50, 53 kilos. So bigger than me, but still, you know, within range. Good to work with. They're very strong. And like, I'm man in the middle, so it's a little bit intense. And it starts getting harder and harder, and they start actually getting a little bit meaner. And because they got mean near the end, when they were starting to get tired, rather than them starting out mean, it means that they were not told by Ramba to be a certain way. It means that they decided within the context of whatever was happening in our clinch together that they were either going to punish me back because I was dominating them and they wanted their dignity, or they were trying to get me to quit, or they were like, I'm tired and I don't want this much intensity, so I'm going to scare her or hurt her or whatever the thing is. These are all the ways that you can try to get someone off of you that are not crying about it and being like, I don't want to do this anymore, which you're not allowed to do in Thai gyms beyond the age of, honestly, at any age. Like, they don't let you quit like that. Even when you're really, really little, you can just cry and then they'll make you stop. But when you get older, crying doesn't make it stop. So the fact that they made it more intense, hi, I know this dog. Hi, honey. Hi, baby. The fact that they were making it more intense means that I brought that intention. That's really good. That means that I succeeded in what I was trying to do there, and I'm happy about that. And yeah, so next week I just have to finish this week out, which is where I'll like just be starting to getting back to feeling a little bit normal after being sick. Once the end of this week happens, at the start of next week, we're going to be driving up into Ubon, which is so far away. It is clear on the end of the country, like right before you get into Laos or Vietnam even. Super far away. It's like a 10-hour drive. And we're going to drive over there and we're going to film 2 sessions for the Muay Thai library, which is really exciting. So I'm happy that we're going to be doing that. I'm happy to be training with these guys and getting them in the library, but these are big events for me. Like, this is a big, exhausting thing that's going to happen. So right as I'm starting to get my energy back, I'm going to do something that's going to tap into and siphon out all of my energy. So that's how it works. That's how you do it. And these are my little babies. Hi. So I've known these puppies since they were very, very wee, and now they're almost the same size as their mom. This is their mom. And I'm going to shame them real quick, because when I bring them treats for them to chew on, they still, even though they are their mother's size now, they still take the treats out of her mouth. They are too big to be doing that. Let mom eat. You don't need that anymore. You don't need to be taken from mom anymore. That's my shaming of the dogs. But yeah, thanks. Glad to be back at training and getting work in and getting stuff done. Yod Kuman just got back from his seminar tour in Australia, so I'll be seeing him when I get back from Ubon. So he's resting in Roy Et for a week, and he had a really good time out there. He was really happy to be teaching, and the people who I've heard from about the seminars really, really loved what he had to teach and how he teaches, and I love how he teaches. So if you come to Thailand, he's back in Thailand now, I recommend doing a private with Yod Kuman, because he's so generous and amazing. He charges by the hour, but honestly ends up giving like an hour and a half or 2 all the time. He's just so wonderful. So try that out if you're going to be here. He's in Pattaya.